Democrats. It is Monday, September 12th, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. Happy Monday. All right. So I was gone last week. I missed you guys, but I'm back this week, and I am fired up. Last week, I was in Maryland at a DNC meeting. Just heard so much inspiring talks, got so many new tips, tricks, and tactics that I want to share with Democrats. And so I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. It's awesome. I landed on Saturday night, got up Saturday afternoon, and went to Just Desserts, where we heard from a lot of great candidates. I got to fellowship with a lot of local Democrats, and so that was great. Got up this morning, and I've been talking to candidate after candidate. So I'm fired up. I'm ready to go because here we are. We are right at about 8 weeks until the election. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of information we have to get out there. Make sure that you guys know about all the great we have up and down the ballot. But before we get to that, or as we lead into that, I want to talk about you've gone for a week, you check your mailbox, and you have all of your bills. And so got my electric bill, a little frustrated, as I'm sure you are if you're listening to me in Oklahoma. And so I did some research. Man, oh man. So from June of 2021 to June of 2022. So in June of 2021, Oklahoma had the most affordable electricity rates in the nation in June of 2021. Contrast that 12 months later, just in June of 2022, we have the highest electricity costs in the nation. We went from the best to the worst in 1 year. We are part of the United States, so I can't imagine that our weather was so much more different from everyone else. I don't know how any of it works. As I was saying earlier, I pay what they tell me to pay because I like to turn on the lights. But I wanted to bring on an expert to talk to us about it because I want you to know about her. And welcoming Dr. Warigia Bowman, who's running for Corporation Commissioner.
Hi, how are you? Thanks
I'm
for
wonderful.
having
How are
me,
you?
Alicia.
So you heard what I was just saying. We went from most affordable to least affordable, basically, just in a year's time. Mm-hmm. How does something like that happen?
Well, the short answer is a lack of good governance. What happened, and I mean, you made an important point in your previous comments about was our weather colder than everyone else's? Actually, Winter Storm Uri, which hit the North America last year, ranged from Mexico to Canada. So it hit many, many states. Oklahoma was by far not the coldest state. One of the mystery questions that we're dealing with Winter Storm Uri is, why is it that people in North Dakota were properly winterized, but people in Oklahoma were not? And we get very cold weather here. It isn't as though it's warm in Oklahoma in the winter. I mean, there are ice storms and they're fairly regular. And this was not even our coldest winter ever. So the issue is not that it was cold. It was unpleasant for sure, but it was within the range of normalcy for Oklahoma. So there was just a lack of preparation. And furthermore, the federal government, the Federal Energy Regulatory Committee, and the Southwestern Power Pool had warned Oklahoma utilities to prepare for Winter Storm Uri. So if they weren't prepared, it wasn't that they didn't have notice. So how does this happen? Well, it's a combination of, there was an unusual situation which created a moment for a narrative for utilities, but we have a commission, the Oklahoma Corporation Commission, that regulates utilities. And unfortunately, it is captured by the industry. Industry capture is a technical term, and what it means is that the regulator is supposed to be helping out the consumer, but instead they're helping out the regulated industry. There's one person on that commission who's doing his job. That's Commissioner Anthony. He's kind of the lone dissenting voice right now on the commission, asking them to do their job. So we have also a breakdown in governance at the Attorney General's office, because the Attorney General has an entire section devoted to protecting consumers, and they just didn't show up last year. And you don't have to believe me. You can believe the Oklahoma Supreme Court.
So let me ask you this. I said in my earlier remarks, I just pay whatever they tell me to pay because I don't know what to do. Is there anything that I as a consumer can do to, I don't know, just plea for them to regulate our prices? Or is this something where we're dependent on the Corporation Commission?
Actually, you have some options as a consumer. So we're in September now, and there's going to be a hearing on the merits at the Oklahoma Corporation Commission. And this is a big one. So I want people to go to oklahoma.gov/occ.html. And I don't know if I'm going to put it in the chat box. But if you go to that link, you will see current rate cases, and it'll say how to provide public comment. And you will see on the right-hand side, Oklahoma natural gas performance-based rate change, hearing on the merits, September 29th, 2022 at 9:30 a.m. So what's going to happen is that the commission will hear comments from Oklahoma Natural Gas, but you as a citizen have the right to comment. And you should take that opportunity. And what would be amazing is if many people took this opportunity and flooded their studio. So
that is September 29th at 9:30 a.m.?
Yeah, and you can participate virtually. So basically, there are these virtual hearings, and it'll explain how to provide public comment, and you can actually even send in electronic public comments. So you aren't powerless. You also could write a letter to your utility complaining. And I suspect that the utilities are getting nervous because they keep sending out press releases. I've received a press release from both PSO and OG&E talking about how they are justified in raising our rates. So I got one on August 31st from Oklahoma Natural Gas. And then I got one from PSO, which isn't even our worst provider, on September 8th, trying to justify securitization. So you're not powerless. You have some power.
They're worried.
Pardon? They're worried.
They're worried. So when you're elected, what can we hope that you will do? That you will do to regulate it so we don't see the spikes?
Okay, so something that's interesting about utilities, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, but then I'm going to have to explain how I'm going to do it. So first of all, we have one good commissioner, Bob Anthony. He's very smart. He's very educated. And he's a technocrat. He's thoughtful. And, this is not a partisan agency. We have to run in partisan elections. But what you really need on the commission is someone who is thoughtful and who can spell telecommunications. So you need someone who understands regulation in general, which is just a fancy word for oversight. And so basically what I can do is I would have a quorum with Bob Anthony, and with 2 out of 3 people, we can vote to keep your rates down. Now, some people might tell you something crazy like the market determines your rates. That's not really true. As it turns out, utilities are regulated entities, which means there's oversight. And who does the oversight in Oklahoma? The Corporation Commission. So who sets the rates? The commission. The way it's supposed to work is that the utilities companies come in, they make an argument, other stakeholders come in, they make an argument, and the AG comes in and represents consumers. And then the commission makes a decision like a judge in a trial. But what's happening is that the AG has really abdicated that responsibility. There are other people fighting for consumers, like the American Association of Retired Persons. But the commission has been captured by the people they regulate. And so they're kind of just handing the utilities not quite a blank check, but they're being quite generous with them, we might say. So what I could do is, working together, Commissioner Anthony and I would have a quorum to do what the commission's supposed to do: set just, prudent and reasonable rates.
So are we here because of lack of competition, or is it just that truly that the commission has been captured, or is it a combination?
Well, we're speaking to Oklahoma Democrats. This is the most important state agency you've never heard of. People are fired about the governor, fired up about the governor. They're fired up about the superintendent. But the Corporation Commission really affects your pocketbook. And it doesn't just affect your pocketbook on utilities. It affects pipeline safety. It affects telecommunications. We don't have internet in many counties in Oklahoma. And I've had children tell me they can't do their online school unless they sit on the corner at Walmart. It affects railroads. It affects hazardous waste transport. It affects so many areas of our life. So essentially, we have kind of been asleep at the switch as Democrats, realizing how important this agency is. And we need to start paying attention. And the Republicans have taken it for granted that this is a retirement home for termed out legislators. So we had Dana Murphy, who owned an oil company. She's on the commission now. I'm running for her open seat. She actually owned an oil company, which is kind of unfortunate because she regulates oil and gas. It's a fairly serious conflict of interest. It's not illegal, but it's unethical. Then we have Todd Hyatt, who I think is just asleep, but they're getting a lot of contributions from utilities and from the industry. And that is why they're so responsive to the industry. Now, my contributions are just from normal citizens. I actually have gotten money from some oilmen. And I want to tell you that if I were in the commission, I would be responsive to people who produce about 500 to 500 barrels a day. So I'm going to pay attention to the independent producers, but particularly smaller and medium level independent producers.
So I have a question for you. So I introduced you as a subject matter expert. And in the time that I've known you, I believe you to be a subject matter expert. And so this isn't just like some research you've done because you decided to run. Tell everybody what you do for a living.
Well, I teach at the University of Tulsa College of Law, and I've had an amazing experience there. And the University of Tulsa has been so good to me, and I love the College of Law. And I teach water law, natural resources law, energy law, and regulation, where I actually study about and teach public utilities. And I also teach this class called administrative law, which is the law of regulation. And the Corporation Commission regulates all entities or does oversight for all entities in the state. So my subject matter that I teach is actually 100% on point with what the commission does. And I actually have published about wind energy. I've published about solar energy. I've published about water. So I've published on areas which the commission has jurisdiction over.
So that's why I think of you as a subject matter expert. This isn't just something that you kind of know something about. It's something that you have actually been employed to teach other people about.
And I love it. So I'm not doing this because I'm running a campaign, and I'm not doing this because, I'm ego driven. I'm doing this for two reasons. One, I love it. I'm writing a book on rural telecom, so I know we can get rural telecom to everyone in Oklahoma. And not only can we get rural telecom and internet, we can get competitive rural telecom and internet so our prices come down. That's another area where I can help you get your prices down. The second reason I'm doing this is because consumers need to know. Consumers have rights. Consumers have a voice. Our system is set up to control out of control monopolies. And these agencies were developed to make sure that consumers' interests were taken care of in out of control monopolies. That's why Texas has a railroad commission, and that's why Oklahoma Corporation Commission controls railroads, because they were the very first out of control monopoly in the 1880s, around the same time that Oklahoma was established. So I'm here as an educator to advocate for consumers. And you know who's really getting hurt by these cost increases? It's the elderly, our grandmothers and grandfathers who raised us. They worked their entire lives. And so now they're getting treated like this. It's outrageous. The disabled, the veterans, people on a fixed income, when they get hit with a 100 annual cost increase, and that it's going to go on for 28 years with interest. I don't know about you, but I don't know where I'll be in 28 years. That's a long time. And it's just not fair what's happening to them. So I want to let people know what's happening and what they can do to fight back.
Absolutely. So, so you are a law school professor who teaches this at TU. Are you a Sooner?
I'm a Hurricane.
Awesome. So my electric bill shocked me, and I thought, let me talk to somebody who knows something about it. This is an excuse to make sure that I introduce Dr. Bowman to as many people as I can, because this is who we need on the commission. It's that simple. We need someone who, didn't just term out at a job and needs a place to be. We need someone who isn't just a politician who's not ready to give up their space. We need someone who understands this topic. And, I hazard a guess that she's the most qualified person we've had run for this position probably ever. And so, but she cannot do it. As Jana says, she cannot do it by herself. She's going to need our help. She's going to need your time, talent, and treasure. She's going to need folks to help put out her yard signs when she has yard signs, write postcards, make phone calls, host fundraisers for her, donate money. Sometimes she needs folks to staff her at events. She needs your help. And it's not just the folks who can afford to donate. She needs money, but she also needs your help if you're willing to staff her, put out yard signs, walk with her on the days that she walks, drive her around on the days that she drives around. She needs that help. And if we're going to get her across the finish line, and it is high time that we have someone who understands it, who hasn't just done a little research while they're running, but who fully understands this job. We need someone there that will help regulate our utilities, bring them in line, and make sure that everyone is doing what they're supposed to do to take care of the consumers. So I strongly encourage you to support Dr. Bowman.
Thank
with
you.
Your treasure, with your
I
treasure.
want to say one last thing if I have a minute.
Sure.
Listen, OG&E just got a massive rate increase. Guess what? They're making record profits. They made over $200 million in profits first quarter of 2022. And so even though they're making record profits, they asked for a massive rate increase, and they got, they didn't get everything they asked for, but they got a lot. And the reason they probably didn't get everything they asked for is because consumers are freaking out and they're upset. But this is a situation where it's a problem, because when the utilities, I said this on Sunday, they say they need this money to upgrade their grid. Well, the grid is all of our connections between our houses and our utility companies and everything, all electric cables, all wires, all copper. But the thing is, they're probably just upgrading their specific utilities. There's, OG&E is upgrading OG&E. So that doesn't mean they're necessarily upgrading the links between them and, say, a co-op, or the links between them and your house. So I'm very skeptical when I hear they're modernizing and hardening their infrastructure, because we don't have any accountability on this. We don't have any way to check what's true. And they have in the past. There's actually a protective order at the OCC right now, which keeps us from finding out who bought gas from whom in Winter Storm Uri.
Well, that sounds incredibly dangerous. That sounds incredibly dangerous. So what I want to say is, I've been giving you all homework. I've been giving you homework to go out and meet the folks who are going to be on your ballot. Don't have them be mysterious names. Meet the folks who are going to be on your ballot. Warigia will be in Oklahoma City at Vito's on Wednesday at Vito's Restaurant, Wednesday at 4 p.m. Go, donate some money, but get to know her. Find out who she is. Then she's going to be in Tulsa on September 22nd. So go and meet the folks that are going to be on your ballot. Go and meet. I don't know that you can meet Dr. Bowman and not be impressed. So go find out where she's going to be. Find out where she's going to be and go and meet her so that she's not just a mysterious name on your ballot, that you're voting for somebody who you know in confidence as you're coloring in that bubble that she is qualified to do the job. We've run over. We've run over. So I want to wrap up and make sure that you guys know, find a candidate, pick one or two candidates. And here's one right here. Pick one or two candidates and support them. Reach out to their campaigns and support them. We have 57 days until the election, and it's truly time for us to run through the tape, spend all of our energy for the next 8 weeks, changing what our state legislature looks like. Thank you for joining me, Dr. Bowman. Thank you guys for joining me, and I'll be back here tomorrow at 4:15. You guys have a great one.
Bye.